Hey guys, welcome to the Cash Flow Talk. I'm so excited today because I have a very good friend, Alex Vidal, president of RelatedISG. Thank you for being with me, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the things that I love about you, man, is everything you do, you have so much energy and so much passion. That's something that I look up to you every single day.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So very quickly, man, I just wanted to share a little bit of his story. Tell me in a little bit, in a minute, who you are, what do you do, and how you came to be who you are.
All right, great question. I ask this question a lot. I think people love backstories. So I'm 40 years old.
Okay.
I've been in real estate since I'm 19. I actually have a 20. Mind the camera there.
Yeah.
So I have a 21-year-old son, and I needed a job. So I started off as the assistant to the president of Mike Pappas, who I had the pleasure of interviewing a couple weeks ago.
I saw a video, great video.
Yeah, it is good. And you went from being a secretary to starting to help recruit for Kai's, to becoming the recruiting director in California, to recruiting director here in Florida for Prudential, to sales coach, to sales manager. Then I did sales. Then I got the opportunity to go to Colorado, create recruiting division over there. Came back to Florida and took over a company and kind of been around the block. So I kind of started off as secretary, and here we are now president of RelatedISG.
Awesome. So what's RelatedISG? I know it's a brokerage company. Tell me a little bit about it.
Sure. So we're a 7-office, 550 agent real estate brokerage that's co-owned between the Related Group and International Sales Group ISG.
Okay.
We have offices in Weston, Fort Lauderdale, Aventura Mall, Aventura, Edgewater, Coral Gables, Brickell.
Awesome. So those of you who don't know, I'm a realtor and he's my broker. So it's a pleasure to work with him. What's your perspective on South Florida's market today?
Well, you can't define them. This is a great question, right? Because a lot of people, especially if you go to a party over the weekend, they know you're in real estate, they ask you, how's the real estate market?
All the time.
Right? So the thing is, you have to be able to, I guess I should be looking over here. The thing is, you have to be able to break the market up, right? You can't just look at real estate as a whole. There's so many sub-markets. You have pre-construction, single-family homes, condos, commercial real estate, rentals. Rentals are doing really, really well right now, and today's September 14th of 2018. Rentals are doing really, really well. Single-family homes, 600,000 and below, are doing really, really well. Pre-construction condos aren't doing great because the American dollar is weak against the foreign currency. Commercial real estate is doing really well. So, it depends on where you are. But if you were to look at it from a global perspective, rentals doing well, commercials doing well, single-family homes, 600,000-700,000 below are doing well.
Awesome. So I follow a lot of mentors, especially in the real estate market. Grant Cardone, I'm sure you know who he is. He talks about don't buy where you live. I think the opposite. I think it's some part of accomplishment where you own where you live. What's your perspective on that?
I hope to interview Grant. So I'm going to ask him that same question.
And I know what his answer is going to be.
I know what his answer is going to be. I mean, for me personally, I have boys, right?
Okay.
And I have four boys actually. My 21-year-old, but then I have three little guys. My 11-year-old and I have 8-year-old twins.
Okay.
And we rented for many years, but we found that there's a lot of instability in renting, and you're going from one property to another. And our boys just wanted a place that they can call their home, that they can make their bedrooms their home, etc. So for us, we wanted to buy where we live, and we're in the process of, we bought at the end of 2016. Mm-hmm. We're making our home, and that's our palace, right?
Exactly.
So it really just depends. I guess there's different philosophies, but for me, it's not so much about the money and what I can do with the money. It's about providing stability for my family, and that's what it does.
Yeah, that's what I feel the same way, man. What's your biggest goal, personal or business? What's your biggest goal in life, and why?
Well, for business, it's really, the beauty of the Related Group is Related is the Related down here is owned by George Perez. The Related in New York is owned by Stephen Ross. Now, nobody knows this, so I'm putting it out there now on camera for the first time. But Related New York happens to own a real estate company general real estate companies in New York, in Boston, in Chicago, etc. And obviously we're throughout Dade and Broward County. The immediate goal is to take our brokerage throughout the state of Florida, going to Palm Beach County, going to Tampa, going to Orlando, going to the West Coast. But ideally, what I'd like to do is build so much of a monster with RelatedISG International Realty that George Perez and Stephen Ross have no choice but to look at each other and say, man, we're doing something great over here. You're doing something great. Why are we doing this separate? Let's combine the two and take RelatedISG national.
That would be awesome. Alex, what's your passion in life? You're very passionate about everything, but what's your passion? And don't tell me business. What's your real passion in life? Like family-wise? Or
my kid, I mean, there's nothing brings greater joy to me than spending time with my wife as a couple without the kids. but spending time with our kids. Like right now, you know, I was joking with my wife this morning. I take my twins to the bus stop every morning, and I take my 11-year-old to school every morning. And one day that's not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
So that passion of being there, watching my kids play sports, play soccer, really is something that just, it warms my heart, and seeing them excel not only in sports but in school as well, because they're gifted and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Awesome.
That's personal. Professionally, my passion, I have in my core, I believe that everybody wants to be a part of something bigger than just themselves.
Okay.
And my passion is to help make people or have people feel like they're a part of something bigger than just themselves.
There you go. So that's something that I was asking you. What's like other than business, not just being a realtor, broker. That's what it is.
And passions change, by the way.
Yeah, no, of course.
But I think, thankfully, I love my wife. I love my family. I love what I do for a living. So
that's awesome.
I'm touching both passions.
That's awesome. Who has been your biggest motivator and why?
Well, that's a loaded question. I'm fortunate that because I've been in real estate since I'm 21, there are several mentors I've had throughout my life. When I started, it was Mike Pappas, and he owns the largest real estate company in Florida, right? 4,000 plus agents. He continues to be a daily motivator because I look up to him and say, hey, he can do it, I can do it. Then I had a guy named Rich Cosner out in California who I talked to on a regular basis, who owned one of the largest real estate companies in California. Roger Herman, who owned one of the largest real estate companies in Colorado. And then today you have Craig, the owner of ISG. You have a guy named Mike Ambrosio who is the president of ISG that many people, he's like the behind the scenes guy, plays a huge influence on my life. And then his brother-in-law is a guy named Emmett Logan, who is turning 80 in October. He went from being homeless when he was 20 years old and washing dishes during the day and loading trucks for UPS at night to essentially pretty much running UPS worldwide.
Wow, imagine that.
So I've been fortunate that throughout my career, I've been able to create amazing relationships with these guys, but more importantly, maintain them. And they all play an influence on my life today.
Yeah.
And there's Matt Allen at the Related Group. So you're a teacher.
So many people.
You learn from, listen, this is the thing that most people don't understand. You learn from everybody. You either learn what to do or you learn what not to do.
Exactly.
But everybody's a teacher.
Exactly. Awesome. We all have obstacles in life and in business. Yeah. What has been your biggest obstacle that you can think of?
In 2000, the crash, right? The real estate crash destroyed us. Like, it destroyed my family financially. We lost it all.
Okay.
And it took a very long time to bounce back. And so that was the biggest obstacle. But once you go through that, you're kind of like, all right, dude, whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll go through it. If we had to, God forbid, if we had to go through it again, we survived it once when we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We'll figure it out. So
learn and move on. Which brings me to the next question. What was the biggest turning point?
The biggest turning point was actually 2013. I got out of real estate for a short bit just because I had gotten burned out, and I got out of it for like 3-4 months. And it was July 17th of 2013. I lost my job, the job that I did that was outside of real estate. I had zero money in the bank because I was spending it all. And come July 17, 2013, with overhead of over $10,000 a month with zero money in the bank, that was the turning point. And I went, and from July 17, 2013 to the end of the year, I went out, just cold turkey, sold over $7 million worth of real estate. And from there on, my life changed.
There you go. Awesome. So what was your biggest lesson, these obstacles and getting a job and getting fired?
Don't blow your money.
Good.
Don't blow your money.
Manage your money.
Manage your money.
So you're telling me that you lost everything at one point. What would you do if you lose it again? Everything. What would you do? I assume the same thing, but
I haven't even thought of that. I mean, ideally, I'd look at this. My mentor Emmett taught me. He goes, Alex, listen, when you have an issue, whatever that issue may be, you can't just knee-jerk react. You got to step back, quantify the situation, and then formulate the plan on how you're going to handle it. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's going to depend on if you lose it all, what happened, what opportunities are there, and figure out what you got to do.
Yeah, what you learned from that.
Yeah.
Probably two more questions. If you could leave one set of principles, just one, to your friends, your family, your kids, sure, what would it be? Just one set of principles.
Keep your reputation straight.
Awesome.
At the end of the day, we're in a society that we're very litigious, right? Doesn't matter what you have in writing with people. The only thing that you carry with you is your reputation. And you have to be able to look people in the eye and say, hey, this is what it is. I need you to trust me on this. And if you don't have the credibility to back that up, you have nothing. So I'll tell my kids and I'll tell anybody I talk to, the only thing that you carry with you is your reputation. I've been in the business 21 years. I hope to be in it another 30 or 40 years. Again, it doesn't matter what I have in writing. What's going to go with me is my reputation and what people think of me and whether I'm a man of my word.
Awesome. Could you recommend me a book? What's the book that has influenced you the most?
Interestingly enough, it's funny, you ask a lot of the same questions I do. I love it. I love Grant Cardone's Be Obsessed or Be Average.
Awesome.
That book to me got me thinking in ways that I never really thought. It was interesting. There's two things I took out of that book that really made an impact for me. Or one really. One was actually two. Sorry. One was you don't have an expense problem. You have a revenue problem.
Okay.
I mean, there are certain expenses that it takes to run a business, and you have those regardless. So you don't have an expense problem. You have a revenue problem. And when you tell people what you want to do, like you may want to take this show national.
Yeah.
And people are going to tell you, Camilo, you're nuts. There's a million people doing it, blah, 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 and all that stuff. Well, the people that are telling you that are people that are really talking to themselves saying, I could never do that, so you can't, or I tried and I couldn't, and it has no reflection on your ability to take your show national. And that was a good turning point for me, because when I tell people I want to take RelatedISG national, like, you're nuts. And I'm like, you know what, it's because you can't do it. Who says I can't?
Yeah. Grant Cardone, man, a great guy. I learned about him about 6 months ago, and I try to read a book in every 2 weeks or 3 weeks. The problem is about his books, they're so good that I just want to read like one chapter a day and put it to use.
That's right.
So I read Sell or Be Sold and the 10X. Amazing books. I highly recommend them because every time you learn something about this guy, I've been trying to learn 2 or 3 chapters in the same moment, right?
You got to hear him again.
I just listen to one little chapter, one little thing, and then apply it the next day. So I keep thinking about it.
And you know what's interesting about him that I've noticed in the interviews that I've done with through the Inquiring Minds Want to Know is all of these people, whether it's Grant Cardone or Mike Pappas or whomever, Craig Studnicki or Teresa Kinney, whomever it is, all these major real estate players in South Florida that run, Carlos Rosso, Michael Citron from Remax, these guys, Eric Forden, that run major businesses, they all have systems and habits in place to keep their motivation going, to keep their mindset going, because this business will beat the crap out of you.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
You got to have those philosophies in place.
There you go. Alex, thank you so much. Where can our viewers contact you? Instagram, YouTube?
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you want. Facebook, it's Alex Vidal. It's at least my profile picture right now is a picture of me with a hat on, with my wife with a hat on. All the Inquiring Minds Want to Know videos we do via Facebook Live. They're on Facebook. We also post them on YouTube on RelatedISG International Realty's YouTube page. Or find me on Instagram. I'm Vidal
Alex.
Vidal Alex.
Vidal Alex. Thank you so much, man. It was 12 minutes, 12 amazing.
I forgot the clock was there.
Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. And I hope we can do it again.
You got it, man. Thank you
so much, man.
Bye, guys.